before even the rest of my platoon was on deck, or the entire company was on deck, I was tasked to secure 3 battalion NAIs, named area of interest. And one was a HIMARS shot that they had never done a BDA on, way, way farther north than anybody had ever been. One was where they thought like an HVT might be, and I can't remember what the other NEI was. Oh, it was like a possible weapons cache. And so I'm planning this op. I had 96 Marines on this patrol, and I didn't have your traditional left seat, right seat. My first time outside the wire, I was running a 96-man patrol for a 3-day operation, and
Really?
we had a couple of the 37 guys out there. There was one 37 platoon commander was out there. I think one of the 307 EOD guys was out there, and then like one of the 37 snipers, a couple of the 37 snipers were out there with our. And so I had the entire sniper team. So our sniper team from Kilo 35 is called Banshee, and
Mm-hmm.
some of the best Marines I've ever served with, Sergeant Metabate, Navy Cross recipient, Browning, Laird, Ruiz. I mean, just an incredible group. Sully, great group. So I had the whole squad of snipers out there with me. I had all the EOD, I had all our engineers. I mean, and we weren't even halfway out of the ECP, out of patrol base fires, out of the entry control point, and we were in a complex ambush. So I think that's what
Jeez.
that really was like my welcome
Set the
thing. And
tone.
you can't even. I'm not even out of the base yet, and we've got an IED in front of us and multiple PCAMs firing at us from different directions, and I don't even have half of my unit
They're
out of
not
the
even,
gate.
yeah, they're still making their way out of the ECP.
Yeah.
What was that like being, so, I mean, you're in it, man. You know, you're getting
Yes.
shot at, it's happening.
Yep. Yep.
What's going through the head of the of an officer, that's in the middle of this, that's expected to direct and lead, the actions to fight back against the guys that are attacking you.
Yeah. Well, as I was trying to move up to the front of my patrol, because they said there's an IED up there, and I was just kind of go up and assess the situation, but we're still under fire. And at the time, the corn was really high, and so the corn was like 10 feet high. It was all overhead, and it was dense, and you get completely kind of lost in these cornfields. And so I remember I was trying to bound from one cornfield to the next cornfield, and there was a small clearing between the two. And I was with my machine gun section leader, Corporal Nykirk, and the lieutenant from 37 was with me, and we went to bound. And as we went to bound across this cornfield, a PKM fired down, probably, I mean, essentially it's PDF out of this murder hole.
Mm-hmm.
And we dove behind this pile of poppy. And while the pile of poppy was like stacked like 6 feet high, and it was out there kind of drying, while it provided some concealment, it did not provide any cover, right? And so the guy's just firing through this thing of poppy, and I turned to my Corporal Nykirk, who had a 203 attached to his M4, and I said, hey, I'm going to stand up. I'm going to start suppressing this murder hole, and you're going to start popping some 203s into this building. Are you ready? Because I'm standing up. Stand up, start firing, shoots a couple 203 rounds. Guy stops firing. We bound across into the next cornfield. And the Kilo 37 guy turns to me and is like, Schueman, like, now that you got your car, make a decision and get us out of this fire, this situation. And I was like, dude, do you think I was interested? Like, that was what I was thinking about in that moment. Like, I don't even have my platoon out of the patrol base, and I'm getting shot with the PCAM. I'm pretty sure the car was gonna happen. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't doing that I was doing that because we were going to get dead if because we were we were pinned under some PKM fire. And so then, like, what am I thinking from there? It's like, yeah, I immediately am setting up bases of fire and maneuver elements. And I remember, like, kind of what made it all really, really real is finally we get outside the base, and we get kind of like almost like an assault position. And I've got the whole 6 people kind of circled up in this one cornfield and doing some final kind of coordination and planning with my platoon sergeant, one of my squad leaders, before we kind of tried to we were going to secure this one compound and set up that as a patrol base for the 3 days. We're gonna, and I remember my squad leader brings one of my Lance Corporals, this guy Lance Corporal Teague, back to me, and he says, "Sir, Teague just saw a guy with an AK and he shot him." I'm like, "Okay." He's like, the guy's dead." I'm like,
"Good."
Okay. And then I'm thinking like, okay, well, we're killing people. That's,
we're in the war.
Killing is authorized. And so that was my first time. I was like, hey, this guy just killed somebody. And I'm like, all right, that's good to go.
Good. We're in the middle of a fight here, so let's keep it up. And
so I think that was, to me, was kind of pretty interesting. I'll never forget the first time someone said, hey, this guy killed, and I just said, yes, that's what we want. And
do you think you're kind of, I don't know, so this is your first experience with combat, this is and actually being shot at is way different than going on a range and pretending to do a maneuver range and pretend to be shot at. It's completely different. Do you think the reality of that kind of set in, oh shit, this is real, there's people dying now, maybe not on your end, hopefully, I don't know, obviously the story's not over, but there's people dying now, there's people shooting at us and we're returning fire. How did it change your thought process at all, or how you were looking at the I guess the problems of combat?
Clausewitz talks about the best validation or the best kind of experience or training is actually doing it under fire, and how that nothing can kind of quite compare to the lesson. You can spend one day in combat, and that the lessons that you learn in that one day are greater than all the training lessons that you could ever learn, essentially. And